jump into the episode, like we try to do each week, I want to know what has transpired since the last time we were on here.
So it's the pandemic, so nothing exciting in my life, but well, we will talk about something exciting. But other than that, related to Imani, I went back to listen to our episode from February of 2019, so 2 years ago, and something I totally forgot about. One time, Imani was 2 months and she was teething, and so the doctor told us to give her like Tylenol. So we tried to give her Tylenol in her bottle because that's what they said at that time, like put some in her bottle, and she didn't like it. So I said in the episode, because I don't remember in real life, I said that she didn't drink a bottle for 3 days because she was like, I didn't like that.
And I
And
tricked.
yeah, y'all tricked me. And now, 2 years later, she likes Tylenol like it's candy. Like, she's like, I want some medicine. I'm like legit. She be in the cabinet, like, can I have medicine? I'm like, no, you don't need no medicine. So that's kind of crazy to me. But also when I was listening back over to the podcast, I mean to the Facebook Live, we try to redo some of our old episodes for in podcast form. And when I was listening to that one, I'm like, Shelly, we can't really redo that. I mean, we can, but it's irrelevant. Like the things we were talking about, like, oh, pumping in the car on the way to work, and when you going to the movies and stuff like that. Nobody's going to the movies. Hardly
No.
nobody's going to work. Nobody wants to talk about work anyway, but it's like, so just some of those things. Oh, I talked about when I was 8 almost 9 months pregnant, how we were at the Maxwell concert, and we like arm to arm with the people beside us. You're not doing that in COVID, so I'm like, we're not going to talk about the same stuff. We're going to have to switch it up. So Shelly got a little creative in her thought of what we're going to talk about today. But how about you, Shell? How was your week?
All right. So this week has been interesting. Everything and every decision is related to COVID. COVID, 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 COVID. So I got to the point where I wanted to take Deanna or think about or entertain the idea of sending Deanna back to daycare because I feel like she's lacking that socialization piece. She wants to play with me all day and I can't get anything done. But even more so, like she's so smart, but she doesn't, nothing's being reinforced. It's really hard for me to keep her on a schedule. And I just felt like, you know what, she really, really needs this. And so I started looking into daycares and I checked out about 4 or 5 daycares. And I was doing like tours. I was like, oh, they're like, oh, you can come in for a tour. You get there and they're like, you can't go past the lobby. Why would you invite me here to see your lobby? I don't want to see your lobby. They did get creative, and there are some virtual tours. But all in all, I decided not to put her in daycare for now. After doing all that work to send her to daycare, I hope I figure something out. Even if I had to find a small group of moms who are also quarantining and uncomfortable with sending their kids to daycare, and we meet at the park. I'm all about that schedule. I'm just not that great, at like
Yeah.
the feeding schedule, the body training. It's so many things that you don't realize that daycare really gave you. Like they really, really help you out. And to say as well, they are underpaid because they really, really help you out.
They like raise your kids.
Right. They raise your kids, and I need somebody to raise my kid because I'm tired. But yeah, so that's all I've really been focused on. And hopefully next week I can give you a better update on that. But for now, I want to go ahead and jump in. So, like, outside of raising Deanna all day,
Mhm.
I listen to other podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. So one of my favorites is the Darius Daniels podcast. And my family gets so tired of me saying his name, I'm sure. I'm like, Dr. Darius is on TV on Sunday. And so he did this interesting thing where he had his co-host interview him on his podcast because he launched his second book, Relational Intelligence. And I thought that's super cool idea. I mean, you're doing something big, and you have a platform. You might as well use that space to share what you're doing, especially when you're doing something so impactful. Yes. So Janisha, you launched your very first book with your team, and we're going to
Yeah.
talk, and I want to interview you so that we can just further discuss this book because, for one, like I know you don't show excitement the way I show excitement unless it's about like chocolate chip cookies.
Yes.
I like my sister authored a book and before COVID. Like that's huge. You know, you're a mom, you're working. So I want to interview you. And
Okay.
the title is Character is Beauty. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I just had to make sure.
Okay.
All right, a couple questions, and I do want you to fill in as much as you can because we need as much background as possible.
Okay.
So my first question: what was the inspiration behind Character is Beauty?
So it's a journey, right? So originally I started a group called Healing for My Heels. This was in about 2015. Dominique and I, she's one of the co-authors. Dominique and I were living together as roommates, and I'm like a self-development person. I love to just learn and grow, and I also like to collaborate. I'm the master collaborator. So I'm like, I'm about to do this. Who want to do it with me? So it was that thing. Dominique and I were living together. I was on my journey of healing. Like I was working I was working as an engineer, and I had just always been in this place of like, um, I want I want to live a very purposeful life, and I don't feel like I'm living that. And the things that keeping me from getting there is fear. And what are these things that are what is holding me back? So it's like I need to overcome these obstacles and build up this confidence to just go and do what God has called me to do. So we started this group. We met like once a month for a little while, and we covered a few different topics like forgiveness, and it was really good. Like we had great it was literally like friends pretty much. So like our largest one, I think it was like 11 of us at one of them, which is big for like this little small ladies get together. And we went through like forgiveness, insecurities. um those were the two that I can think of the top of my head. So we did that, and then I moved to Vegas. So then when I moved to Vegas, I was talking about it a little bit. I was like sharing, like, I did this, but nobody was really giving me any ideas. So I just kind of like let it go. Because again, that lack of confidence. Like it must be cool, but it must not be that big of a deal because nobody's really saying anything. So I let it go. Fast forward, I leave Vegas. I could come to Virginia. I get pregnant and I become a single mom. So when that happened and I went through a real healing process because I went to therapy and everything. And so I was like, I have a story. And I know that there are so many people that will be able to relate to my story as a single mom. So now I have a real platform. So I think that was what gave me like the push, the drive of like, you got something to say now. So why not? So COVID happened, and I had been in prayer, like, okay, Lord, I want to restart healing for my heels. I know I had got plenty of confirmations. I know this is what you want me to do, but I need some instructions. Like, what do I do? So I just have been in prayer. I'm like, y'all, I'm not hearing nothing. So then eventually, when COVID happened, my first instruction was, hey, I need you and these ladies to start praying for people. And so we literally started a prayer circle. And the idea was, in the midst of COVID, people can't go to church. So let's fill in the gap. People go to church, they go up for altar call to get, lay hands on, get prayer. And everyone doesn't have friends that pray, doesn't have parents or family or mentors that pray. So we wanted to fill in that gap. And so that's what we did. Every week, we prayed for 1 to 4 people. I think Dominique said we pray for like 100 people at this point, but we pray for people weekly. And then he was giving me the next steps. Like, okay, these are the topics that you are all going to cover in this first conference. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the ladies like, hey, uh, Kim, you gonna be talking about shame. Shame? What you mean? Just look it up. That's what you're gonna be talking about. Shalette, you're gonna be talking about identity. Okay. I'll do identity. Dominique, you're gonna talk about rejection. Okay. And then the last one, well, so then Jay is self-worth. And then for me, I thought I was gonna do shame, right? I'm like, oh, I know all about shame, single mom shame. Like I was, I lived a life, ended up in the life that I didn't expect to be in, and I was just so ashamed. And I went through all of that. So that's gonna be I thought that was gonna be my topic, but I'm like, if it's Kim's, what am I gonna talk about? And he said, yours is grace. And so he gave me all the topics. And then, I gave the ladies their topics. And so that's what we did. We prayed weekly. We met weekly to prepare for this conference. And then in preparation, it was still another instruction. Everybody needs to write out transcribe what they're going to say at the conference. Yes, we'll be Holy Spirit led, so we're not reading verbatim, but write it out as if you're going to read it. And so didn't know why. Like, okay, everybody, make sure you write it out. All right. Then we have the conference, and like I don't know how long before, but Brittany's trust. Brittany, she's the inspiration. Brittany got the instruction of, y'all are going to make a book from what you all prepared for this conference. So conference day, we at the end we're like, hey, we have a surprise for you all. Dominique, our social media uh branding jack of all trades person, she threw us together a little book cover real fast, and we presented at the end. Character is Beauty is a book that we're going to be releasing next. Well, we didn't say when, we're going to be releasing soon. So after that, we just started the process. Like we had already written some things out. Everybody just kind of edited and things like that. And this was my first, I thought about authoring because I love books, but I never looked into it. So it was a lot of work in learning and just networking without being able to be around people. So calling people, looking for websites, looking for help. But at the end of the day, we did it.
Huge.
So we started our prayer circle in April of 2020, and we had our conference in on August 30th of 2020, and then February the 2nd of 2021 we released our book.
That is huge because you use the word we met weekly. Yeah, it
We
that's powerful because you're talking about, you said April of, when was the beginning? April of what year?
2020.
No, the meetings in the living room.
Oh, that was in 2015.
2015. Y'all were meeting physically face to face. You
Yeah,
know, only what, once a month you said?
once a month.
Once a month. When COVID hit, y'all were meeting weekly because I just learned, and your group spans and just like does so much. So I've been meeting with them, quote unquote, meeting with them every day, every morning when I exercise. And one of your girls said to another, I can't wait to meet y'all. I said, what do you mean? She said, I've never met her met them in person. I was like, my sister is like the ultimate connector. Like they talked and joked with each other like they've known each other their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I know that, when I say like, you have gifts, you think about gifts being something tangible, like, oh, I can write, oh, I can do this. You are the ultimate connector because for those ladies to be so impactful, like in such a short time, in such a crazy time,
Yeah.
other people, but be able to connect with each other on that level is huge. And it's also, to me, sounds like a time for introverts because like during the book process, you're like, we had to call people to get this, we had to figure out this. You didn't have to walk into any buildings. It was still stressful, I'm not taking that off of you, but people are like, I'm not good at this, I don't like to talk, I'm shy, I ain't meet with nobody, I called these people on the phone. And you,
Yes.
like, y'all made it happen. I attended the conference last year and my phone was ringing right after the virtual conference of my friends like, yeah, that was the best conference I've ever, again, quote unquote, attended. That's huge.
Y'all, we had, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this just to share like what you can do, especially in collaboration. I'm all for it. Like I'm always like, as a community, a lot of times we aren't great at working together. But when you can come together and get on one mind, like we had our very first conference virtually, so we couldn't meet in person. We had over 100 people sign up and come to our conference. And so that was amazing. Like we're like, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So and then to Shelly's point of the connection, I'm gonna tell you, share more in a little bit, but three of us live on the East Coast and three of us live on the West Coast, like literally. Three of us live between Maryland and Virginia, and then the other three live in California and Las Vegas.
Crazy.
And most of them have never met each other in real life. They've only talked via the phone and via Zoom. But now they have built like genuine relationships. Michelet, she the little mama of the group. She called and check on everybody. She know when people going through. So we the connection with us is just amazing. And so that's, I believe that's why God wanted us meeting every week. Like, if y'all going to do this and it's going to be a big and long term, I need y'all to have legitimate relationship.
Get together and pray for other people. Like, I'm gonna take time out of my day to pray with women I never met for other people. Y'all, I mean, when I say inspiration, I mean y'all are inspiration. So I want to hear more about the team. So I know all of them through you. But I
No,
want you,
Kim, you knew Kim first.
yes, you stole my friend Kim. You can have her on here one day as a guest. I'm already telling y'all. All, you want me all of them. So I want you to share a little bit about each lady so we can, know what they're doing. People are like, if they had time to write a book, they got all this time. They must not have kids. They must not have much going on. People can assume a lot of things to make excuses for, because I'm one. I'm like, well, I got one daughter. I can't do that much. So tell us a little bit about each lady, like what they're doing.
Okay. So I'll go in order of our circle. So Dominique lives in California. She's the only one that's not a mom of the group, but she is just, if not more busy than us as moms. She works full time as an engineer as well. And she just started Style Digital Co. So if anybody that's gone to our website, healingformyheels.com, or even my website, johnnyshainman.com, she designed both of my websites. So we have a website designer within the group, a brand creator in the group. So that's such a blessing. But yeah, so she does both, and her Style Digital Co is blowing up. So she's super duper busy person. Um, and then I have Shalette. Shalette is a mother of three. She is also a cosmetologist who has her own salon. So her children are all at home during the week. So she has her hands full, but not only is she a mom, she also just has a whole lot of other stuff going on. She's a part of Positioning for Purpose. And with that, she's doing, you know, mentorship and a lot of stuff. She has her working, and she just also has just her own stuff. She has a group called God's Daughters, and she sends out daily devotionals every single morning, like long devotionals every day. So she's like really, really taking this time seriously, and really building. Then we have Kimberly Harvey. So Kimberly Harvey, same thing, mother of three. She also is a full-time financial analyst, I think. So she does something with finances for the government. And she is building a podcast as well. So she's definitely busy with all of that stuff. And then we have Brittany. So Brittany Collins Jefferson. She is a behavioral, well, she owns a behavioral health clinic. I don't know the exact name, but she is the CEO of it, and she runs the business. She has two locations, one in Las Vegas, and now she has one in Colorado. Mother of five. So she has a whole lot going on. Same thing, her kids are at home. They're still not in school, so they're at home. Of course, she has some help because she has to go and run her business, but very busy. And then Jaya. So Jaya wasn't in this first book, but she will still be doing the next conference with us. And her topic is going to be on self-worth. She has been very busy in this process, so she's really just getting back into the groove with us. But she opened up a spa in Las Vegas called Beyond the Barrier Nail and Spa, I think. So everybody is like doing the daggone thing. Every
Yes,
single one of these women. So we're not out here just sitting at home, just these single women with no kids and just have all the time in the world. No, we're at home, we have purpose, and we're going to fulfill the purpose that God has for us. And let me tell you, nobody's life is perfect. All of us have our own stuff we have going on, but we're pushing past that and we're pursuing what God wants us to do. So
that's huge. Every time I hear what one of the girls are doing, one of the women in the group are doing, I'm just like, wait, when they have time to do that? Like, I think back on Shalette, she used to do my little micro braids back in like elementary school, and now she has a salon.
yes.
Like, that's just, and Britt, I had no idea. I honestly, I mean, I knew she was a busy person, but CEO.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Britt, come through. We get up and exercise, do our little virtual
Yeah.
exercise. And I'm like, oh, it's 8 o'clock where I'm at. It's 9 o'clock, I guess, where the East Coast crew is. And she's like, y'all, it's 5 o'clock in the morning over here. Why you
Six.
up?
It's six. Yes.
Yeah, I'd be like, get back under them sheets in the cover with 4, 5 kids. Like,
So that even that's something else we started. Like again, I'm all about collaboration, accountability. So Kim and I, we got together like, hey, let's get serious about this workout. Let's start an accountability group on Facebook and let's do it. And so I think we told one person, and Britt was like, I want to do it. I want to work out. I want to lose weight too. So we're
uh-uh.
like, okay. So then I'm like, well, let me just share it with people. 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. These ladies are up Monday through Friday working out via Zoom. So if you can find us on social media, you can join. It's
I'm
just a Zoom workout.
ready, man. Y'all ready. That workout is something serious. So kudos to you and all of them. I know you already stated this, but where can we find you? Like, if we want to get on social media, figure out what's next, where can we find you?
So our handle everywhere is Healing for My Heels. So IG, we have a Healing for My Heels. Please go and follow. I just launched our IG page. I just launched a Twitter account on Healing for My Heels. And then email healingformyheels@gmail.com. And then the big thing is our website, healingformyheels.com. So that is all the Healing for My Heels handles. Our book, Character is Beauty, is on Amazon. So you can find it on Amazon. Um, it's both in ebook version and paperback version. So you can find us. Oh, and then lastly, right now we have a Facebook group. So it's called, I'm going to change this to just Healing for My Heels. We originally launched it for those who attended the conference to join the group, but we're going to open it up to even those who purchased the book, just to like stay in community and conversation with them about it.
Okay, that's dope. I love that.
I feel like I'm an interview girl. I'm over here like in my engineering voice.
I mean, you have a lot to share. That's a lot. And knowing you, like personally, knowing that, like, literally, it's still just one of your many projects. Like, this is one of those projects. So that's huge. And so when I ask this next question, y'all be prepared for the answer. What is next for Healing for My Heels, for Janisha Inman? What's next?
So Healing for My Heels. We just launched our book February 2nd, so we're only about a week in. And we had a great launch. So I'll share that, guys. We had a really great launch. Those who may not know how Amazon works, the lists you can get on like, lists based on how many sales you get. And on that day, we did make it to the top 100 in a couple categories. So we were very proud of that. But this is all new to me, y'all. Let me tell you, I didn't go to school for business. I'm an engineer. So I didn't go to school for any of this stuff. I don't know about marketing, any of that. So I'm really just taking it one step at a time. Somebody want to help me with marketing? Hit me up. But I want to continue to push Healing for My Heels, the book. So I'm going to continue to share that on social media. But from that, we are going to have webinars. So every topic that we cover in the book, there's 5 in the book, but there's going to be a 6th. Jay is our 6th. We will have webinars on each of those topics, and they will be led by the person who wrote the chapter. So our first webinar will be coming up, and that's Shalette's webinar on identity. Then we got to watch COVID. I don't know, but we will have an in-person conference at some point. We're hoping we can have it by the end of this year. If not, then maybe early next year. But webinars, in-person conference, and the other thing that people don't know, so you all will be some of the first to know, there will be more books. People that have read the book so far, they're like, oh my goodness, it's so good, but I want more, I want more. And so we will be releasing books individually. So there will be an entire book on identity that will come out. We don't know the timeline of that because we want to focus in on what we're doing. Um, One more thing. So this is going to be per person. Everybody's going to kind of navigate themselves a little bit differently in how, when they launch their webinars. But for like Shalette's identity, we're going to we call them cohorts. So like classes. So after each webinar, if you like, this was great, a little 2-hour appetizer or 1-hour appetizer. I need some help in this area. I would love for you to help me, you know, go through this process. And so she'll have like a course, like I think 4 to 6 week course on identity. So people will be able to sign up after the webinar. So this is like, these things I'm talking about are going to be over a couple years, right? Because we can't do 6 webinars and conference and all that in 1 year. But this is our big picture plan for the next couple years.
Okay. So now that it's on, look, we recorded this episode. Now we're gonna hold you to it. We're
I
gonna
know.
be for 'em, and I can't wait because when Shalette speaks, I mean, all when every woman speaks is powerful, powerful. But when I need to pick me up in the morning, and I'm like, man, I just don't want to go to today. Like today sucks. I go to that same. It's a clip from the conference that you shared, and I'm like, yes, I am beautiful. Let you right. I'm worthy. And it's gonna pick me up like no lie. And so I'm ready to hear what's next. I'm ready to hear like everything that is like that's going to go on. Every conference, every webinar, every book. I can't wait to get my book in the mail. I wish I would have ordered it early, could have ordered it earlier, but I was like, no, I want to order it on launch day.
Yes.
My book, I'm taking a picture and I'm be cheesing. Me and Deanna gonna be cheesing with our book in our hands. Y'all, it's Black History Month. And I posted these ladies are making her story. I mean,
3.
story, yes. Like, no, we're going to be doing more interviews of mom women that are out here doing the dang thing. But this wasn't like any preparation to be like, oh, let's go ahead and put in a plug. Of course, we're gonna plug us in now,
Yes.
but every episode look forward to hearing our perspective, other women's perspective, uplifting, and like that is the purpose of these platforms. We have no ulterior motives. Like this is what we desire to do: uplift one another, help and support one another.
Yes.
So if you think of a topic that you want us to uncover, if you think of a guest that, or you might want to be a guest, hey, hit us up. And we look forward to hearing and seeing you guys on next week's episode 6. We're
Mhm.
not going to tell you anymore. I want you to be ready and waiting. So go ahead and like if you're on like YouTube listening and watching, share and subscribe if you're in any other platform. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Bye. See you next week.